Welcome to the Saturday Slam and Jam here on the Athletic NBA Daily, brought to you by eBay. On today's show, Alex and I are going to give you our good, our bad, and the what of the week. We talked to Yaron Weitzman, the author of A Hollywood Ending, The Dreams and Drama of the LeBron Lakers, about his amazing book. And I promise, there's so many good little nuggets from this book that we discuss that aren't just Lakers. So maybe you're a Lakers fan, you want to hear about it. Maybe you're not a Lakers fan. There are so many things in this book that kind of affect the NBA in general that you're going to want to listen to the interview. It's great. And then we're going to do some trivia. But before we do all of that, Alex, tell me what happened in the NBA this week.
Andrew, the NBA is back! And we've had a couple of days of real basketball to enjoy. And while the basketball has been fun, when it comes to the top story this week, it's going to be hard for VJ Edgecomb to top current head coach arrested in connection with years-long illegal poker scheme involving the mafia. That's right, folks. It's only week one of the NBA, and we've got Portland Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups being arrested and indicted on charges of wire fraud conspiracy and money laundering conspiracy. Now, what was going on is Billups was acting as bait to lure wealthy people into poker games where they could play alongside famous athletes while losing all of their money because everything was rigged. Now, that sounds bad, but there's more. In a separate investigation, which led to the arrest of Heat guard Terry Rozier, Chauncey Billups does match the description of a co-conspirator who tipped off bettors that the Blazers would be resting key players in a March 2023 game. For the time being, Thiago Splitter has taken over as the Blazers' interim head coach. All right, back to Sixers rookie VJ Edgecomb, just an NBA player doing cool things on a basketball court, not involving the mafia. In a game against the Boston Celtics, Edgecomb had an historic debut game. First, he scored 14 points in the opening quarter, breaking a record once set by LeBron James, but he kept scoring. He finished with 34 points in the game, the most in a rookie debut since 1974. Now, his full line was 34 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists to go along with 5 3-pointers. But he wasn't the game's leading scorer because Tyrese Maxey dropped 40 in the game, leading the Sixers to a 117-116 victory. The Sixers will have their home opener on Saturday night against the Hornets, who won their own home opener against the Nets. Also this week, the Oklahoma City Thunder received their rings, raised the first championship banner in franchise history. In an effort to raise the stakes this season after winning 68 games last year, the Thunder have decided to try and win every game in double overtime.
Please stop.
Yeah, please stop. Please. First, it was the home opener against the Houston Rockets, a game that should have ended in the first overtime after Kevin Durant called a timeout that did not exist, but it ended up going to double overtime where the Thunder won 125-124. 2 nights later, on the road in Indiana, the Thunder did it again, winning in double overtime 141-135 behind Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's career-high 55 points. SGA took 26 free throw attempts, which I haven't checked social media, but I'm assuming everyone's being cool and normal about it. It is the most attempts since Giannis took 26 last December, but you know what's wild? In the last 5 seasons, there are only 3 other players who have had a game with at least 26 free throw attempts. Giannis did it twice. Makes sense. Embiid did it once. Makes sense. Can you guess the third, listener? I'm not even going to wait. No, you can. There's no way in a million years you would guess that it was Jeremy Grant who took 28 free throws in a November 2022 game against the Knicks. Now, speaking of the Knicks, they came into the first heavyweight matchup of the season down a few key players. No Mitchell Robinson, no Josh Hart. The opponent was the Cavs, who were also hobbled. No Darius Garland, no Max Strus. And in what could be the first matchup of an eventual Eastern Conference Finals, the Knicks won 119-111, led by OG Anunoby's 24 and 14 double-double. The Western Conference had their own heavyweight matchup on Thursday night when the Nuggets traveled to San Francisco to face the Warriors. It was a battle of titans between Steph Curry and Nikola Jokic, with Steph and the Warriors ultimately coming out on top in overtime 137-131. Steph leading the Warriors with 46-7. The Warriors start the season 2-0 before their back-to-back against Portland on Friday night. While the Nuggets didn't win the game, we do have to mention Aaron Gordon, who put up 50 points, 5-0, including 10 three-pointers, 1-0. Gordon's previous career high was 41 points. The most threes he'd ever made in a game previously was 7. I didn't even mention the crazy game Wemby had, but don't worry, we're going to talk about it. And those were the top stories this week.
Wow. Feels like a month of basketball. It's been an amazing week.
All right, Andrew, it's time to dive into the week that was. And the way we're going to do that this year is we each are going to give you something we liked. We're going to give you something we didn't like. And we're going to give you something that confused us.
A little
in
weird.
a segment that we're going to call, for 1 week, Good, Bad, What? Good, Bad, What? Now, each week, the name of the segment's going to change, but the format will be the same. So, Good, Bad, What? First, a good thing, Andrew. What's something good you liked this week in the world of the NBA?
Matas Buzelis
Matas
was good. He was very good. The Bulls beat the Pistons. It got a little dicey, but they still won the game. And Matas Buzelis had 21 points, 6 boards, an assist, and 3 blocks. He was 7 of 12 from the field, but he was 6 out of 7, 6-7, in the restricted area, including 3 dunks, one on a sick 2-handed alley-oop. He also had like a lefty driving layup, this lefty scoop finger roll. Like he just kind of had it all getting to the rim. He was 0 of 3 from deep. He's really 1 of 4. He hit one where his toe was on the line, but it shows 0 of 3 from deep. But like the 3-ball looks good to me, and I think he's going to continue to be aggressive enough with it that it'll be a part of what he does. But the Bulls getting a guy who has like size, athleticism, and really the thing about him that differentiates him from these other Bulls wing prospects of the past is that he's super aggressive and like he wants to be one of like the really good players in the NBA. And he's expressed that desire. He's showing it on the court. He's still super young, but it was a really great start from Matas Buzelis.
Yeah, that's a great one. I think prospects like that are the most fun to have on your team because
Totally.
they theoretically can do everything. And most of the time it doesn't work out. But when you have a player like Matas, where you start seeing like flashes of everything starting to come together. I mean, you even started seeing it last year at the end of last season. That's really exciting because you can really start letting your mind wander. Like, man, if he really put all of this together, like what kind of player would that even be? It's so much more exciting than, for example, like watching Patrick Williams' development on the Bulls.
You know what? I didn't have to say we didn't have to say his name during the segment. I just kind of barely mentioned him in there if you didn't catch it, but
okay, my good thing this week, I wanted to bring up a player that I had a lot of fun with last season because he was putting up some stats that didn't seem real and not in a good way. Last season, Jeremy Grant, easily his worst NBA season, giving his standing in the league, his contract. He shot a preposterous 38% on 2-pointers, 37% overall. It was the type of season that was so bad you wondered had he fallen off some imaginary cliff, never to return to the player he once was. And this was a problem for the Blazers because they have other problems, but problem for the Blazers because his contract is large, Andrew. 2 more years, around $33 million, and then a $36.4 million player option for the 27-28 season. He went from a guy who Portland could have gotten a first-round pick for 2 summers ago to one of the worst contracts in the league. And so when the starting lineup for the Blazers was announced for their first game, Grant was coming off the bench. It made sense. And I was actually impressed that the team had bitten the bullet and made that decision. But then the game starts, and Jeremy Grant was the best player on the Blazers. I was at the game. He was incredible. He scored 29 points on 10 of 14 shooting, 4 of 7 from 3. He had this play where he drove towards Naz Reid, faked him out so bad, he was able to get completely around Naz without Naz ever touching him, and then had a wide open dunk. I thought he was active defensively. Overall, just had one of the better games I've seen from him in a minute. And to put that first game in some perspective, so Basketball Reference has this game score stat where they try to put a value on each game. His game score in that opener was tied for the highest game score he had all of last season.
Wow.
And the other thing about him playing so well is that watching this team, especially without Scoot or Robert Williams, this roster thins out really quickly. And all
Yeah.
of a sudden, you're relying on someone like Chris Murray to be a real rotation player. Uh, eh, Blake Wesley in that first game was getting a lot of minutes, was scoot out. This team needs this version of Jeremy Grant, especially with the offensive struggles they're inevitably going to face losing Anthony Simons. So, for an opening statement after his worst season as a pro, I thought he looked really good and wanted to give him some credit.
Shout out to Jeremy Grant.
Uh, those were good things. Now, how about some bad things, Andrew? What's your bad for this week?
Oh, can we talk about the Clippers for a minute?
Whew,
Uh,
whew.
the the Clippers continue this weeks long streak of being the most embarrassing franchise in the NBA, and losing to the Jazz 129 to 108 is pretty darn embarrassing. Uh, you only get a few gimme games in the Western Conference. You only get a
That's
few,
true.
and the Jazz are one of those teams. And the Clippers get 3 games against them. They already blew one of them. They look old. They did not lead for 1 single second in this game. And Kawhi Leonard, who a lot of people were talking up in the preseason, he got torched by Markkanen. Just absolutely torched. He was it felt like he was playing behind. It didn't feel like he was like almost paying attention during a lot of these games. There was a turnover, and it was a James Harden pass. This was toward the beginning of the third quarter. James Harden throws the ball to Kawhi. Kawhi is not paying attention. He doesn't even know the ball is coming. He turns around, sees the ball hit the ground, stands there for a few seconds, throws his hands up like, what's going on? He's got those big old mitts up in the air, waving around. What's going on here? All the while, Svi Mykhailiuk gets behind Kawhi, gets the ball, dribbles it up the court, passes to Keontae George, who then sends it to Flip, who gets a wide open dunk. Like, it's just like one like small example of just the lacklusterness that existed with the Clippers that night. Now, it's one game. This was a pure like, we are not giving the necessary effort to beat a professional basketball team kind of thing that happened. I don't expect this to be necessarily a long-term thing for the Clippers, but it was concerning. And this is already an old roster that is going to have some injury problems at times. They're going to have some effort things that happen just because if you're that old, you just can't make all the like tiny little effort plays. Uh, but when you have so many guys that aren't going to make those kind of plays on your roster, I think it is a little concerning. And so, not to say like this is going to be a horrific season for the Clippers, but there was a really, really bad start.
Yeah, it seems like there's probably like 5 times a year where either in like a group chat or on Twitter, someone will just post the screenshot of an ongoing score.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
to have that happen on night 1 where everyone's posting like the halftime score of Jazz Clippers.
I had it in 4 group chats. Was just the score.
Never
That's
a good
it.
sign.
Yeah.
Never a good sign. My bad this week, Reed Shepherd's defense and how that relates to the Rockets' overall three-point shooting.
Yeah.
The first matchup of the NBA season, it was a doozy, Andrew. Double overtime thriller between the defending champs and the Houston Rockets. And I think if you're a Rockets fans, there's a ton to be excited about, especially with their 2 young stars, Alperen Sengun and Amin Thompson.
Yeah.
But one thing that really stuck out in a bad way was Reed Shepherd's defense. And it wasn't like this was a case of OKC getting Reed switched on to SGA on every play and forcing him to guard the reigning MVP. You know, like that's going to be tough for anyone. And that's still a problem, but, you would understand it. A lot of the defensive lowlights for Reed were against matchups where he just has to be better. Like, you can't get put in a spin cycle against Lou Dort. He got completely dismissed by Cason Wallace on a straight line drive to the rim. These are some of OKC's lowest usage players, not exactly known for their self-creation, and they were just blitzing Reed. And while this might not be as big of an issue if Reed was drafted by another team, he's on a team with championship aspirations. He's playing for a coach who might value defense more than any other coach in the league. I mean, we watched how Udoka handled Şengün's minutes earlier in his career until Şengün proved to him that he could be a solid defender. And what's especially concerning is how important Reed's theoretical three-point shooting is to this team. Because during that first game, the Rockets took 35 threes in regulation, which would make them a bottom 10 volume team over the season, compared to last season. But that's not necessarily an issue. Like the Nuggets, Clippers, Knicks, they were all bottom 5 last season in three-point attempts per game, and they were great teams. But what was crazy to me is where that volume was coming from in game 1 of the season for the Rockets. Amin Thompson took 7 threes. He missed all 7. The last time he took 7 threes was his first game in the NBA when he somehow took 7 threes in 21 minutes. He's taken 4 or more threes only 5 times in his career. Alperen Şengün took 8 threes in the game. This is a guy who didn't take more than 3 in a game all of last season. Now, he was 5 for 8 in the game, and importantly, he looked very comfortable taking those shots, which is encouraging. But if Reed's defense is this much of an issue, Şengün's newfound three-point volume goes from this exciting new development to something the Rockets desperately need from him every night. If not him shooting 5 for 8, at least just taking a lot of threes. And again, you can be a good team while not taking a lot of threes, but those other teams, like the Clippers, for instance, last year, they had established three-point shooters that you could trust. One of the overlooked effects of the Jalen Green for KD swap was the three-point volume, because KD, obviously a better player. It was a great trade. You always make that trade. This is not a defense of Jalen Green. But it is significant that per 36 minutes, you're replacing a player who took 8.8 threes per game with someone who took 5.9 last season. And then you lose Fred VanVleet. And you're left with this game where guys who you normally would have not thought are going to be taking a lot of threes for their team are now taking up the bulk of their three-point attempts. Now, getting DFS back is eventually going to help. I think Jabari should and could shoot more. But watching that first game, I kept coming back to Reed because he projects as this high-volume shooter that they need, and yet his defensive shortcomings are going to force his coach to make some tough choices if he doesn't improve.
Yeah, he also just can't really get an advantage with his dribble either, which I think is a problem. Like, he can get the ball up court, okay, but once he gets into the half court, like, there's at least against the Thunder, and maybe that's the unfair thing. It's like we watched him play against the Thunder, and like offensively, there was just not a lot he was able to create, and some of that could be that he is playing against Cason Wallace, who's like one of the best on-ball defenders in the NBA. So I'll kind of reserve my judgment and maybe in that circumstance for him, but he just really struggled in all aspects of the game against OKC. So yeah, I think like kind of putting a pin in like the Reed Shepherd problem is a good thing to do at this point.
So we gave a good, we gave a bad. It's time, Andrew, for your what? What confused you this week in the NBA?
Man, I could not decide where to put this, but I'm just putting Victor Wembanyama here. It's like what?
Confusing in a good way.
Confusing in a what is about to happen? What is about to happen to the NBA? He played 29 minutes against one of the best defensive front courts that the league has to offer. He had 40, 15 with 3 blocks. He had 7 dunks. 7 dunks. I was talking to my son, taking him to basketball practice, and we were talking about the Wemby game. And we were talking about like the height difference that exists. He's like, who can credibly guard Wemby? He's like, it's probably like Chet, like might be the only guy in the league that can credibly guard him. And I was like, do you realize that the height difference between he and Chet is the same as from Chet to Lou Dort? Like, it's like the same height difference between those guys. Like, that's why it's going to be so tough for the league to like credibly guard this guy. You're going to have to send 2 to the ball, and you're going to have to turn him into a passer, and that will be like the evolution of Wemby, is that like you're going to have to send 2 to him. But like, it didn't really matter on night 1. The Mavericks, who would be a team that you would think, oh, okay, like they're pretty well equipped to guard him. Nope, they weren't. They weren't at all. They weren't ready at all. The defense that's going on in Dallas will not win championships, and they will not stop Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, I was following along on that game and saw, because I was at the Blazers game, and I saw, Derek Lively only played 10 minutes. Like, I hope he didn't get hurt or something. And then you just learned like he's got 5 fouls. Like the fact that he had started off his season dominating that front line is just so impressive. But especially, they start point flag, which isn't go great game 1, but I mean, that's a massive lineup. You couldn't ask for much more size other than maybe the Rockets. And he just totally dominated. And that he did it in 29 minutes.
Torched him.
My what this week? Well, first week of the NBA season, I would say it's made for overreactions, Andrew. When you have watch your team play in months. You're trying to soak up as much of that first game as possible. But it's important to remember most of these games will be forgotten to time. Do you remember who beat the Houston Rockets in the first game of last season, Andrew?
Mm-mm.
It's the Charlotte Hornets. They beat
Oh,
them 110 to 105. And of course, they went
okay.
off to win 50 games and make the
Yeah.
playoffs. So that said, the game I want to overreact to this week is making me a little confused was Hawks Raptors because I tuned into this game honestly because I wanted to watch the Hawks. I wanted to see this new look
Yeah.
Hawks team. They're
Yeah.
going to get a ton of love in the offseason for their moves. I think justifiably so. Bring in Porzingis, Nikhil Alexander-Walker, Jalen Johnson's back healthy.
Yeah.
Year 2 for Reece Shea. People, including me, excited to see this team in action, and they stunk. They got absolutely dominated by the Raptors. And while that was surprising, I'm not going to make this about the Hawks because what actually surprised me was how impressed I was by the Raptors. They looked awesome. And I love the formula they have with this current team. They were aggressive in every aspect of this game, constantly had Atlanta playing off their back foot. 34 points in transition, which you got to give the Hawks awful transition D some credit there. But it also makes sense with how aggressive Toronto was. Per cleaning the glass, when the Raptors got a live rebound, they turned it into a transition play 49% of the time. That's in the 96th percentile. They were putting an incredible amount of pressure on the rim. They took almost half their shots there. But even in the half court, I thought they were moving fast. They were making quick decisions, quick passes. I kind of associate Brandon Ingram teams with like pounding the air out of the ball, taking, ISO mid range shots. And there were some Brandon Ingram mid range shots, but like overall, it was coming in the flow of the offense. And I just felt like they were moving so quickly up the court, in the half court, everywhere. I just really enjoyed how they were playing. And at the very least, I am buying into this team being miserable to play against this season. But I'm also starting to wonder, like, what is their upside? Like, I was listening to the Bold Predictions pod with Sam Vecini on Game Theory and Bryce, and one of Bryce's first bold predictions was that Toronto was going to overtake OKC in most like forced turnovers per game. Which watching this game, like I at least kind of see the vision. And then Sam, his first bold prediction was that they were going to be like a locked in playoff team, so like a top 6 seed. And again, watching this game, like, yeah, I don't know if I buy the ceiling, like the upside for this team long term right now. They probably need another star piece on this team to really take them seriously. But man, they've at least got a formula. Like this team definitely has an identity. And that can go a long way, especially in the Eastern Conference.
Wow. S is going to be so excited to hear about this.
Shout out S.
He's going to be so pumped. Something else I'm pumped about is to talk about this book and to talk to Yaron Weitzman right after this quick break. With us now, we have Yaron Weitzman, author of A Hollywood Ending, The Dreams and Drama of the LeBron Lakers. Yaron, I'm really excited to talk about this. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to be here.
So your new book is about the Los Angeles Lakers during the LeBron era. What initially drew you to this story and made you want to write this particular book?
All right, a few answers. So one, I'm going to give a answer which I haven't been giving a lot, but I don't care anymore. So when you write a book, part of it is definitely reverse engineering and what could sell, right? I'm not going to lie about that. So
Sure.
That's not the most beautiful answer, but like, there are a lot of things that are good stories. Not a lot of good stories are of interest. LeBron and the Lakers obviously are of interest, right? But past that, okay, so that's part of it. But you're not going to just do something because, like, it could sell. I did 3 years on this, so, you could you need to be into it. And the thing I think I'm usually most drawn to in most of my NBA work is sort of the power dynamics. And the way I explain it is sort of like what's happening behind the scenes that we don't see that then is impacting what happens on the court that we do see, right? And to me, it would seem very clear that this merger, and I think a merger is a proper term, between these two iconic brands of LeBron and the Lakers was ripe to sort of unpack that. And being an outsider and not being in LA and not being reliant on the Lakers for a media credential, and I'm saying this is not criticism of anyone else, because it's not like everyone's got different jobs, right? But not in that, and not being like one of LeBron's guys, which is fine. And again, being one of LeBron's guys, like that's an important job. I'm not making a joke even, like that matters.
Sure.
But just that there was an opening for me to come at this and really do this in a way where I use myself as a radar. Like if I'm interested in this, I think most NBA fans are. And like, what's the deal here? What was this tenure actually like? I think I can get to shed some insight. So that's kind of the answer there.
So the book starts with an author's note describing, among other things, the Lakers' approach to you writing this book, which included hiring a famous defamation lawyer. Now, you mentioned that you received several letters from that lawyer while writing this book, saying things like, "quote There are many times when individuals threaten to
This is good,
sue
yeah.
with neither their reputations to stand up to scrutiny nor the resources to pursue a strong libel claim. Please have no doubt neither of those issues applies here," which sounds very scary. Now, what do you think bothered the Lakers so much about this book? Do you think it was a particular characterization of one of the main characters involved?
Short answer is I don't know. So the short answer is I don't know. I'll give the background here, right? So when you start the book, you reach out to the principals involved. I'll do the LeBron part quick. LeBron, I spoke to him for 60 seconds in a locker room, and I knew he's like, go through Adam Mendelson's his PR guy. NBA fans might even know his name by now, right? He's around enough. They weren't going to participate. I knew they weren't going to participate. LeBron really doesn't do that anymore, and power to him. Like it's why he's going to sell his own story. They literally have cameras around him. Like there's already a documentary, I'm sure, in the works, whatever. So that the Lakers were different. So the Lakers I reached out to, and I met with Jeannie Buss twice off the record, and I've said this before. I only share that. I wouldn't share that, but she has talked about this in interviews, so I feel like it's fair game. Where she's been like, "There's a writer writing a book who has said this to me," and I'm like, "Okay, I thought we were off the record, but I guess not. I don't know." And they weren't. I don't. She never really understood the project, which is fine. She like didn't think there was a need for it. She didn't really understand like what there was like why anyone wanted to do this book. And that happens a lot from people inside, right? They don't understand the interest that people might have on the outside.
Yeah.
But like we had communication, like there's some informal fact checking stuff back and forth. I would kind of send things to her, and somewhere along the line, and the first time I got a note from the Lakers lawyer from this guy named Marty Singer. So I'm bad with the years. I think it was 2024, the year the Celtics won the finals. And I was with Fox Sports then. I'm on the sidelines, game one. Let's say it's 7:00 or whatever. I don't remember whatever it was. And I remember this was the day that the Dan Hurley news broke, right? That the Lakers were looking at him. That was the Woj bomb, right? The same day of the finals, if people remember. And I'm standing on the sideline and I see this note come from the letter, whatever, office of Marty Singer. And I'm like, huh? So I open it. Lake, we've hired. I've been hired by the Lakers. Deal with lead the dealings with you. Yada yada yada. And I Google him, and he's a very famous defamation lawyer. And so then I get that, I'm like, okay, I guess informal communication time is done, right? Like we are done with that. Like that is like it. So the letter wasn't threatening yet. I kind of describe it as a not a cease and desist, but we're watching you. Weird anecdote in there was like we hope you had a good time at the combine, which is a little big brothery because I spoke to Rob Pelinka for like 60 seconds at the combine, literally. So it was kind of like that's what I'm saying. The we're watching you thing. It was a little so like my made up. I don't know if they saw me talking to Rich. I talked to Rich Paul a little bit at the combine. They don't know. And I wouldn't share. Like I could have been talking to Rich Paul about whatever Darius Garland, right? They have no idea. But like I don't know if they saw me talking to Rich Paul. I don't know something. And I started hearing from sources around before I got the letter that like something about Jeannie, something I don't know. There was something going on that she had become worried about this project. So I don't fully know. I don't know if it's just that in the sports world, these powerful people are really successful and used to sort of controlling narratives and being able to push out these stories that they want. And I just wasn't going to do that. And like, I always be careful. I always counter that by saying, to be clear, I didn't come at this as like, I'm an outsider and I'm burning every bridge down and bleep this person and bleep that person. I'm taking them all down. But I wasn't going to sugarcoat things or just change stories that weren't the case. True. So I don't know. And then we send them, I know I'm blabbing here a little bit, but then we send them the fact-checking document later on. So the way this works is like, so that I get that letter, I'm like, okay, we're done. So I'm going to send them fact-checking. And the fact-checking, I like to explain this to people because I don't know if they fully understand. Fact-checking, the way it works when you're done before publication, right? I'm done. Before publication, I send a list of things for them to respond to. And like when I have one of the Maloof brothers tell me how Jeannie Buss is a great owner, I don't need a Jeannie Buss response to that. That's great. So that's fine. So, and I'm sympathetic to this. They get a document. It's like 40 or 50 things, and it's probably scary because it's all negatives usually. And it's like, I get it. You see that, it's probably like, oh my God, this is a hit piece. But my answer is always like, and I write this, let's get on the phone and talk. And I've done this and did this with other people, right? And like nothing's published yet. So if you show me why this is wrong, either factually, contextually, perspective wise, like I am all pleased. Like I am happy to change. Like I'm happy to do it. But you have to work with me a little bit. It can't just be like, you're wrong. Yeah, okay. LeBron's people on the fact checking response was, there's a ton wrong here, and I'm not even going to answer, show you what it is. And I'm wrong. Do you want to point it out? No. I'm like, okay, well then I can't do anything with that. Like, that's not even saying anything. That's just like, there's a lot here. I'm like, what do you want me? I even wrote, I'm like, do you want me to guess? Like, what is this a game? So like, I can't do anything with that. Genie took a different path, and they write this letter. And actually, I think it enhanced the book a little bit in many ways, like from an entertainment perspective and from just also showing like,
agreed.
It's like almost like I put a lot of them footnotes, and it's almost like a secondary narrative, like that's going along, like, along with the story.
Right.
And a lot of it is like almost like proving some of the points, even if not specifically, but just you're seeing how they think. It's such the notes, so many of them are such an insight into how the Genie Bus Lakers operate and think. Like I think one of the greatest quotes is from the response to the Ty Lue, like when I said like people accuse him of being cheap by not hiring Ty Lue in 2019. And the response was something along the lines of, coaching the Lakers is a uniquely special opportunity. And I'm like, that's it right there. Like that, I can summarize my book there in like a sentence. Like that's the insight you need. So I know, a long-winded answer. I don't know what the sensitivity was. I'm assuming they got wind of something. I know when you report people, things get around. So I'm sure somebody said, hey, he asked about this. And I'm sure that set them off somewhere. And mixed with not being in control of the narrative probably was something they weren't used to.
Yeah, I give you a ton of credit. I got the book. I crack it open. I've read a lot of sports books before, and like as I'm like getting further down the road with this thing, I'm like sitting up a little straighter in my chair. I'm like getting excited to read what's next. So there is a section on the 2017 draft. You describe how Magic Johnson became laser focused on Lonzo Ball with the second pick. There's a line that just says Lonzo. With players like Jason Tatum never even getting a workout or an invite from the team. How popular was that pick within the Lakers organization at the time? And was everyone in lockstep, or were there different factions that favored other prospects?
It's a good question. Well, the Lakers, I mean, they might. It didn't matter. Maybe the short answer is it didn't matter. Like Magic was going to make that pick, right? Like it didn't matter what anyone else thought. That was Magic's pick. And the Lakers, they've always had this funky setup. I should say always. In recent years, they've had the funky setup where like you have the GM Magic, and then you have the scouting department is usually it was ran by Ryan West, Jerry West's son, who's pretty universally respected as a scout, and then more significantly Jesse Buss, who's one of the youngest Buss children. The Buss. You think of the Busses is Dr. Buss. He had 4. Oh, well, 5. We'll get to that. 4. He had 4. He basically had 4 children with his first wife. Janie, Jimmy, Johnny, Jeannie. If you can say those names 10 times fast, congratulations to you. And then he had Joey and Jesse with a second woman later on, right? And then there's another kid who came on later, and whatever, separately. But they're basically the 6. Joey and Jesse. Joey was running the G League. Jesse was running basically becoming the head of the scouting department. So Jesse was always the one more in the weeds on this stuff, and his group, I should say, as well, like other people around him in the weeds. And the Lakers historically been great, like their G League operations, and this guy Nick Mazzella, and under Joey was really good at kind of empowering some of these scouts around him. Like the G League historically for the past 10 years, you can see the G League results. These guys don't always stay through right after they come up, but like they've had a lot of success with those guys. So to answer your question, like it didn't matter if other people were on board or not, right? It was Lonzo. It was going to be Lonzo. It was very clear Lonzo. Magic went to one of, I think 2 of his games in person, which for him was a big deal, right? And to be fair, like I know Lonzo hasn't panned out. Like Lonzo first of all, pre-injury was really good.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of like, I judge NBA, like my judging of draft picks is like, you don't know who's going to be a star or not. If the guy's really good like that, then you hit. Like if you didn't nail the super, I don't know, the guy's hit. Lonzo was a really good player, and most scouts liked him a lot too. So yeah, some people had De'Aaron Fox ahead of him, and I think his scouts, I think I had it in the book, like a lot of them had De'Aaron Fox ranked as a higher point guard. But to me, the Magic, like that's not a mistake, but it's also indicative. Magic wanted both ways, right? Magic wanted to be like the ceremonial president, like I'm Magic Johnson, but he also wanted to get his hands in on certain decisions as well. And like you can't do both. That's where the issues can come in.
Could you retell the anecdote about rookie Lonzo Ball getting called out by the coaching staff for his
I'm
lack
so
of
glad because
preparation?
this hasn't got
Please.
picked up at all. It's fine. And this is like these. I love. I feel like these are the anecdotes that like make sports books, like these random things.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah. I know. I should tweet this out at some point. But this is good. So it's Lonzo Ball basically, and he failed the draft day test, like the movie Draft Day. He failed it. So they're in the locker room. And there's his rookie year, and there's some concern among the coaching staff that Lonzo's maybe not being the greatest professional as a professional, right? And not reading scouting reports. And it's before Thunder game against Thunder. And I got to remember exactly. Andrew will probably remember either. But like Russell Westbrook, they go to ask him about the scouting report. And I think it's that he goes left, right? Even though he's a righty, if I remember correctly. Like that he goes left. And Lonzo is basically jibber jabbering. We've all been like when a teacher calls on you and you don't really know. So that's Lonzo. He's doing that in his locker room in front of the players. Not meant to be in front of the players, but they're all, when you're in a room and you can sense something's happening. So like they're all kind of slowly honing in on this. And Lonzo's like, no, no. And the assistant coach, Clay Moser, goes, well, he goes left. You didn't know that. And Lonzo goes, no, I did. He goes, well, if you read the scouting report, you would know. And let me show you how I know you didn't read the scouting report. And he takes out the book, and there was a $100 bill taped to the back of it, and he's dangling it up in front of the locker room, and the whole locker room starts laughing. And it's literally like, I don't know if it was if he got this some draft day, but it's like the Kevin Costner, the draft day thing where
It's the Kevin Costner trick.
Yeah, like the quarterback
in real life with real people.
I forgot. Was it Bo Callahan? Right, Bo Callahan. So he forgot he failed the Bo Callahan test, and it's pretty funny. It's pretty great.
Oh,
so one of the
so good.
One of the greatest what if moments in the league that probably doesn't get enough attention as it should was the proposed 3-team trade between the Cavs, Nuggets, and Pacers in 2017, which you write about in your book. And this was reported on at the time, but I honestly had just forgotten about it and how far those conversations got with all 3 teams agreeing to the terms. So as a reminder, the Cavs were going to get Paul George. The Nuggets
you're going to have to help me run the
Love.
details on this one. Yeah.
Yeah. Nuggets would get Kevin Love. And then the Pacers were going to get Gary Harris, plus I assume like a pretty good amount of draft picks. And if this had gone through, multiple championships would have been affected. Bubble Lakers, OKC last year. What was the story about why this trade ultimately didn't get done?
You got to help me out here. Remind me some of the details that I remember, because I'm forgetting the exact. I want to make sure I get it right. Andrew, help me a little bit, and then I'll fill in the details. Help me what you remember as we go through.
Yeah, I think it was essentially like that 3
I'm looking this up
team trade was done, but then it was like conveyed that like, hey, LeBron is probably just going to stay in Cleveland now.
Correct. You're right. That's what it was.
If
right.
you if you go down this road, you are keeping LeBron in Cleveland. And
correct.
That felt like that's when they were like, okay, never mind. Let's go. Let's do something else here.
And that was Kevin Pritchard telling Herb Simon this.
Herb Simon.
Yes. Yep. Herb Simon, who did not want to take on Oladipo, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
He did not want to take. He did not want to take it on. And their intel was right. That's the thing. Paul George. I mean, I never know. I felt this is the quote. I put it in because someone close to LeBron, who I trusted, told me if Paul George goes to Cleveland, LeBron doesn't leave. And I weighed whether to put it in because I'm like, that seems like a lot of Monday morning quarterbacking, but I trusted the quote enough where I was like, I put it in, and it's fascinating to think. And the answer would be, I guess, that if the team's that good, is LeBron really leaving Cleveland if Paul George is there, right?
Right.
It's just, we're pointing out that trade was so funny because it's one of these also examples where like I heard the story, you get tipped from 5 different people 5 different ways. And one of the reasons I was asking for help is I think it's one of these things where I had to X out like 1,000 words because I didn't have it fully verified, or like there was one assistant GM was contradicting something another player personnel guy and another GM was saying from a different team. And I think it just became one of these things. The wires got crossed on some of these things, but in the end, it's the ownership, and that Indiana correctly, I guess it seems like, realized that LeBron, whether it was intel or assuming that like, hey, if Paul George is here, he's just not going to leave, right? Like that's a great team, but was able to convince Herb Simon. And as the case is always, and you see it like the GM's job, and others have told me, number one might be managing up. And if you can figure either that could be manipulative or making sure the correct information gets through, but like that's the job. And if you could figure out that, like, then you can do a good job.
Yeah, I thought that story made Kevin Pritchard's moves that summer like even more impressive because everyone talks about when that trade was made, it was kind of panned initially
Yeah.
and clearly turned out great. But then you figure out the backstory and that he was actually able to convince the owner to go against another trade. It's like, damn, that's really
It's good, right?
impressive.
It's a good move.
Yeah.
It's good. And that's not you, by the way. That's the heady player. He's like, I don't know, man. It's my owner. Like, I didn't go back on my word. Like, I can't
Yeah.
do it. We all, you know how
Right.
owners are. Owners. What are we gonna do?
Yeah. Yeah, that section particularly stressed me out. Just knowing
I
like
can imagine.
how close things were there. So the chapters covering Russell Westbrook's time in LA were very entertaining. Everyone understands why this partnership didn't work out on the court, but there are a lot of details in the book about why it didn't work off the court either. For our listeners that haven't read an excerpt that was posted on The Ringer, will you tell us the Will Smith story, which was
Yeah,
a great look into the Westbrook LeBron off the court dynamic?
Yeah. So I'll go. Okay. So So Will Smith. So it's his year. It's year 2 of the Westbrook experience, and it's, can we curse here? I mean, it's a shit show, right? It's just like a disaster. Like it's just a disaster from the get go. And it's one of the rare trades where I think most people, like, we weren't Monday morning quarterback. I think most people are like, this is not going to work. Like, this makes no sense in the moment, right? And it proved to be as bad as anyone thought, and even worse. So it's year 2, and so Darvin Ham now is taking over. It's Darvin Ham's first year. And the context is that this was when Kyrie, Brooklyn, right? Basically, Kyrie is available very clearly, right?
Yep.
And LeBron is making it very clear that he wants Kyrie Irving to be a Laker. By the way, he's right. Like, from on-court perspective, he's right, which we can get to after. But the only way the Lakers can get Kyrie Irving, salary cap wise, is by trading Russell Westbrook. Like, that is it. Not even just like the Nets will only do it. It's salary cap. That's the only way it can happen, really. And so LeBron keeps saying in public, or sorry, not afterward, he would say in public how much he wanted Kyrie, but he keeps leaking. It's basically making it clear he wants Kyrie. He might have even tweeted. I lose track of when he tweets hints and stuff like that. And so Russell Westbrook's not an idiot. Like, he knows what that means, right? It's trying to, but yeah, at the same time, LeBron's being like, no, I love Russ, want Russ to be Russ, all that. And Westbrook is frustrated because, and there were press conference quotes of him saying, everyone said, let Russ be Russ, but then that wasn't the case. Frustrations like that. Yeah, I mean, we can get to this later. Like, the notion that it's LeBron's that the partnership didn't work because LeBron didn't let Russ be Russ is ridiculous, but that's a separate conversation. Anyway, so okay, back to Will Smith. That's the context here, right? So then the Lakers do this thing they call it the Genius Series, where it's very Lakers, very Rob Pelinka. They bring in, quote, geniuses. So the Rock, Kendrick Lamar, Elon Musk, before he was today's Elon Musk, others would come in, and on this day, Will Smith is coming in. It's like 6 months after the slap, also, which is just funny. I mean, it has nothing to do with anything. I just kind of find that funny in general, right? Like, it's just like, it was almost like his first public appearance after that was like on Lakers social media. So I don't know. So he's there, and so they finished the film session. They're 0-3. Season's not going well, and it's like, I don't think it's not a vicious film session, but like the vibes aren't great. And Darvin Ham goes, "Okay, guys, I'm gonna go get Will Smith now." So he goes out and goes to go get Will Smith. Pause for a second. So Will Smith is walking around the Lakers office. Right now, I think he's in the middle of shooting. At this moment, he's like shooting free throws with Rob Pelinka or something, right? Which is just funny in its own self. So after Darvin Ham goes out, LeBron's like, no, man, you guys got this. I'm out of here, and goes out a back door. And Anthony Davis follows out a back door. And their players are like, the hell's going on? Like, what do we do? They're just confused. And Westbrook's like, are we all leaving? And Patrick Beverley goes, no, you don't understand. They can do whatever they want. They want a title. We're different. And to Westbrook, this was an affront. And I get it, right? He's like, what do you mean they're different? I'm Russell Westbrook. I'm Hall of Famer, MVP, whatever. How different? Goes back and forth arguing. Ham comes back in. So he's like, what the hell's going on here? Like, we need a few minutes, guys. Coach, we need a few minutes. Okay, comes back, whatever. Eventually goes out. He's listening, goes out. This is the part I don't have. He gets LeBron and AD to come back. I would love to know how he did that. And honestly, that might be the best example of leadership in his coaching career in any. Like, I don't know how that's impressive, honestly, to get LeBron and AD to come back in. Like, I'm being like, it's like funny, but I don't know how. He gets him to come back in, goes get Pelinka. I'm like, he's running all over the place. Goes get Pelinka, brings Pelinka in. Goes to get Pelinka and Will Smith, brings them in. And Will Smith does the whole, like, I'll use it as spiel, as my Jews would say, but just the whole, talks about his movies, whatever, all that stuff, his new movie, Emancipation. And at the end, any questions? And one hand goes up again and again and again and again, and it's LeBron's hand. And he's asking a ton of questions. And the way it's described to me is like teammates and people in the room could just see Russ is sitting there. I love this detail, picking at a bowl of fruit, just like angrily, and you could like see the steam rising out of his ears. And he says to a teammate, they do a team photo. On the way to team photo, he says to a teammate, like, I hate that fake bleep, right? And the best part is the team photo was posted, right? And at the time, like the Lakers posted the team photo of the group. And at the time, it had gotten a little pickup. Like I remember a little bit like, hey, look at Russ. But like he's scowling and it's clearly for a reason, right? And then, so that part's wild. The part I'm going to add this as like an epilogue. What I found so interesting, and I kind of hinted this at the first, is like this story got picked up and I'm looking at all the reactions and mentions to on it and stuff. And like, it's so interesting and so telling how so many of them are, yeah, LeBron's a phony. Go get him. Team Russ, LeBron's a phony. It's like, okay, fine. I'm repeating again. The idea that like anyone but Russell Westbrook is responsible for, I mean, the trade was bad, but anyone but Russell Westbrook is responsible for how poorly that went is ridiculous. And we have proof of now, I don't know, maybe 16 teams that Westbrook has been on since OKC where it hasn't gone well. And it just was so telling. It's so telling to me about like how people feel about Lakers fans and NBA people in general feel about LeBron, that like even anyone that would latch on to like Team Russ on that.
Yeah. One of the aspects of that story that I love is that the argument is between Russ and Patrick Beverley because they obviously have that history. Like one of the reasons, or like one of the people involved in Russ not having a better chance at winning a championship was Patrick Beverley.
You know, I never thought about that. Yep.
Getting him injured in 2013. So I can only imagine how pissed Russ was in that moment that
For
it was
sure.
Patrick Beverley delivering this message.
And it kind of summarizes the whole thing, right? You get it. Like it summarizes the issues there for sure, but it doesn't make like Russ right.
Right. So this book, one of the things I loved about it is just the incredible cast of characters. And these are some of the biggest names in the NBA. I'm sure you came into this project with some preconceived ideas about some of the people involved. Through writing the book, did your perception of any of these characters change dramatically after you learned more about them?
I don't know. I don't know if this is the exact answer. The Rob Pelinka, I am endlessly fascinated by Rob Pelinka. Like that, I found myself like, I cannot get enough Rob Pelinka stories. I could write a whole book on Rob Pelinka. I could do give me everything on Rob Pelinka. I find that guy so interesting and so fascinating and so weird, for lack of a better term. Just like I cannot. So like, and I guess you kind of knew that beforehand, but just the extent of which, and I'll go a little deeper with it. Like I wanted to learn about him, and I talked to a lot of his high school friends and like got his backstory and the idea that he was this like real striver and he wouldn't parties and because he wanted to be a Division Division I athlete and get scholarships and all that. And so he would give up on parties so he can go shoot. And his dad was hard on him, but they were close and really considered I'm gonna choose my words here, stand-up guy, and like his friends loved him. And I don't know where this streak of ambition was unlocked for him, but somewhere along the line, I don't want to say something changed, but like he started chasing these things in a different kind of way. And I just find it so interesting. And I find it interesting that anybody would operate in such a closed ecosystem like the NBA world is and think you can do things like, you know, be a little iffy with the truth, let's say sometimes. Or, I mean, I'll attribute to, I had a GM tell me that when Rob was an agent, when Plinko's an agent, like the way it was phrased to me is there were some agents you knew you could agree to something at the combine in April and you'd be good through July. Rob was not one of those, right? And like to have that as your reputation and be able to succeed, and you're doing that in a world where like you're talking to the same people over and over. It's a really small world. It's just so interesting and so fascinating. I mean, I love the anecdote, like, you know, going around and doing fun facts and everyone's sharing like where they're from. And he's like, yeah, well, I played horse with Obama in the White House. And like not realizing that that's like weird. Like people are going to be like, what? We're talking like, we're not, this is just, I can't get enough of Rob Pelinka.
I will say one for me, I thought your book did a good job of just giving a fuller picture of what they're like is Magic Johnson. Because I do think his Twitter persona is like so goofy and fun that everyone just has this idea of what Magic is like in real life. And there's a scene earlier in the book where he's just cursing out like the baby Lakers, just furious at the way they're playing. And it just, that one scene just like all of a sudden opened up like, oh, there's a whole different side of Magic that I am not aware of. And you see that through the rest of the book. You just get a better picture of who he is.
For sure. And by the way, it's interesting because going back, like it wasn't new. Like I did a quick thing on when they brought him to coach, what year? I forget what year it was, in the 90s for half a year. And like, he's basically cursing out the guys at one point, being like, you guys like it here? I think he said, you like the ladies here? You like I'm going to ship you out to Cleveland. You guys are all bums, like cursing them out. And like, really foreshadowing what he would be as an executive. And abrasive. And to employees, like there's a thing about, I have a stack of resumes on the desk. Anyone I could have replace all of you. To Ivica Zubac, he was really, really hard on and like calling him soft and other stuff.
Yeah.
Luke Walton, like there was at the time, it was reported at the time, Woj reported at the time, Magic chewing him out after a regular season loss. But what I learned is he did it after a preseason game. He went to a coach's meeting and stormed in there. And like, this is the thing. Again, I alluded to this before. It's that, in a way, he couldn't figure out if he wanted to be like, my job is I'm Magic Johnson and I'm more kind of ceremonial and big picture and we're going to have a nitty gritty GM in there, or if it's like you're going to be your hands on, but you can't be the guy who's, I wouldn't go for that sort of, I wouldn't endorse that sort of behavior in general, but you certainly can't do that if you're also going to be taking a month off near the summer to go yachting with Samuel L. Jackson, right? Like things like that. Like it just, you can't have it both ways. You can't do both.
I'm sure this has probably crossed your mind, but if you're going to write a bonus chapter about this upcoming Lakers season, is there a particular angle or story that you're interested in following throughout the year?
I'm just fascinated by LeBron angle, obviously, but where I've sort of landed is like, I don't think he knows yet how he wants this to finish. Like, I really don't, right?
Yeah.
Or that's what I've landed on, and just seeing how, for the first time in his career, he's not in control, literally with his contract, he's on an expiring deal for the first time, but also in terms of just leverage and power structures, right? He's just not that guy. So for the first time in the first time in the career, he has the team hinting that they might not want him back, right? Like that was Rob Pelinka media day, was asked about the contract, and he gave a non-answer. Like he said, we love him to finish our story here. He didn't say whatever, like LeBron's home, part of family. Like it doesn't seem like they intend on giving him sort of the golden parachute type contract that Kobe got, right? That does not seem like something that they're going to want to do. And I think some of the stuff we've seen from this offseason where like you opt in, but then you have that strange Rich Paul statement where like, we care about winning. And listen, the Lakers, like, are they mortgaging every draft pick for the future? No, but they have Luka Doncic on the team. So to say like they're not interested in winning, like, that's just false, right? But then you come at media day and like, no, I don't know, I'm happy. I look good. My wife looks good. Everything's great. But then we're not in training camp. I think he's kind of figuring it out on the fly. And again, for the first time, he's not in control. And that's got to be really, really difficult for sure for anyone, but imagine for him. So yeah, that's where I'm kind of looking at and what that looks like.
All right, Yaron, thank you for answering all of our questions about your brand new book, A Hollywood Ending, The Dreams and Drama of the LeBron Lakers, now available wherever you buy books. I would also say you wrote a book previous to this called Tanking to the Top, which I loved, all about the process Sixers. So go check out that one as well. But now, Yaron, it is time to play Andrew versus the Beat, our weekly trivia show where Andrew goes head-to-head against an NBA beat writer, or in this case, an author, Yaron Weitzman. Now, Yaron, how this works is I've come up with 8 trivia questions, and they are all related to the LeBron-era Lakers. So all questions...
I'm going to be exposed here, aren't I? This is not good.
We'll see. So all questions will exist between the 2018-19 season and last season. Some questions are easy, some are hard. You're going to pick a number. It'll correspond to a question. If you get it right, you'll get at least 2 points. And if you get it wrong, Andrew will have a chance to steal for 1, and then we'll go back and forth until all the questions have been asked and answered. So to start us off, I just need a number between 1 and 8.
Let's go 6. Wasn't LeBron 6 in Miami? We'll go 6. Look at that. I'm going to tie in.
That's great. I like that. Question number 6. Since the 2018-19 season, Anthony Davis and LeBron James have totaled 196 and 194 double-doubles, respectively. Which Laker has the 3rd most double-doubles since LeBron came to L.A.?
Double-doubles since LeBron came to L.A.
Oh, man.
AD and Bron, 1 and 2 makes sense.
I can't tell. I'm gonna get you. I'll throw something out in 1 second. I can't tell if I have like a good like random answer. There's no way. Man, that's wild. What is this damning or what? By the way, is this like is really?
No, this
Andrew,
this is how it goes every week. No, this is
And
it's
no, not even on
misery.
me. I'm saying the Lakers. Andrew, do you think you have it or no?
Do I think I have it? No, I don't think I have it.
Right. I think
I'm still trying. I'm still racking my brain currently. So
that's what I think. Yeah, I'm gonna save myself. I think this is more damn. Forget me. This is more damning the Lakers that there's like been such a revolving door and never been like a clear like third guy. That speaks poorly on them.
No kidding.
I'm gonna throw. I can't tell if this is crazy. I'm gonna throw a random. I'm gonna go Dwight Howard. I'm gonna throw a random name in there. I'm gonna try that.
Dwight Howard, D12. That is incorrect. Andrew, you have a chance to steal. I was actually going to guess Dwight as well.
Or are you? Because like 2 tenures. I figured like we had the 2 stretches there, and maybe we stacked up a little. Like that's kind of what
I thought. That's kind of what I was thinking too.
This is good.
Golly. What about Rui Hachimura? Like, I don't know. Rui Hachimura, Andrew, that is also incorrect. The correct answer was none other than Russell Westbrook.
No way. I guess that makes sense.
No.
The 2 years. 2 years of stat padding. Oh my God, that's good.
No All right, Andrew. Way. That is awesome. That is so good. Number one. Question number one. LeBron joined the Lakers in the 2018-19 season. We're going to name the top 10 in minutes played for the Lakers since LeBron came to town. So how this works is Andrew will give me a name, then Yaron will give me a name, we'll go back and forth. So we all know that LeBron is number 1 in minutes played, so I'm going to take him off the list. So there's 9 other names in the top 10 minutes played for the Lakers since 18-19. Andrew, start us off. Oh, boy. Austin Reeves, number 3 on the list. Yaron.
That's the. I can't believe.
Yeah.
Do I go next, or does Andrew keep going?
You go. You are next, Yaron. Yeah.
Let's throw. I'm gonna throw Caldwell Pope in there.
Contavious Caldwell Pope, number 5 on the list.
Oh my God.
Andrew. This is wild. Anthony Davis. Thank you. I was wondering how he was.
Oh, did he not get it? Was he not in that? Okay.
Yeah, number 2. Number 2 on the list. We got AD. Okay, Yaron.
So we have 1, 2, 5, and what was?
Reeves. 1, 2,
Reeves
3, and 5. Yeah.
I'll put Kuzma in there. Where's Kuzma go?
Kyle Kuzma. Welcome to Kuz World. Number 4.
Okay.
Number 4 on the list. Welcome to Kuz World. Wasn't that a quote from the book?
There was a quote. Like yeah, he told, I forget which player, that they went out one night. I forget, it was like a random, like a end the bench guy, and Kuzma that next night was like, welcome, send him a text, welcome to Kuz World. Like Kuzma taking him to like one of these LA scenes or whatever.
I love that it's a text too. That's so much.
Yeah, like
send that in a text. It's so funny. Golly. All right, Andrew. So you've got the top 5. We just need 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I guess I'll go Westbrook. Russell Westbrook, number 7 on the list.
Okay, I'm gonna throw Rondo out here.
Rajon Rondo is not on the list.
Oh!
In the top 10. The other names: Rui Hachimura, number 6. Dennis Schroeder, number 8.
Schroeder.
D'Angelo Russell, number 9, and Alex Caruso, number 10. AC is on the list. Caruso. I know.
Honestly, this is like such a. I was asked earlier to think like, is Rob Pelinka a good or bad basketball executive? And I kind of copped out. But I gotta say, this is damning. this trivia game might be the answer. I don't know.
Okay, so Andrew's up. 2 points. Yaron, the board is yours.
Number 2. Let's go number 2.
Question number 2. There have been 8 Lakers to score 40 points in a game since LeBron came to town. Now, 3 of those players, LeBron, AD, and Luka. Name 2 of the other 5 Lakers to do it.
Who's first? Me?
And this is your question, so you'll name both of them. You just have to give me 2 names.
Okay, I believe Reeves got to 40 once.
Okay, and what is your second name?
So got to 40 since LeBron's there?
Yes.
That we named, and who was named originally?
AD, LeBron, and Luka. So there's 5 other names.
Russ couldn't have gone to 40, could he? Could Russ have gone to 40? Oh God! Wow.
Wow.
I'm gonna throw. 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 I'm g I'm not gonna take too long. So I'm thinking he's gonna be my fallback. I'm trying to think of a random. I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna try it. Let's say Russell Westbrook. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna play the odds.
Those odds are not in your favor. Your own Russell Westbrook did not do it. You did get a point. Andrew, Austin Reeves was correct. Andrew, you can steal a point. Just name one more Laker who had a 40 burger.
40 burger.
Oh boy. What about Kuz?
That was good.
That's right. Kyle Kuzma did do it. The other names.
What did he catch fire one day? Yeah, go ahead.
Kuz World.
D'Angelo Russell.
That makes sense.
Malik Monk.
No.
And the best
Monk.
And the best one. Do you remember it? Taylor Horton Tucker.
Oh yeah, that was the game Vogel got fired, right? Like I think that was the end of the last season. Like that was the last game of the season, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think
end of the season. Yeah.
Like he had a triple-double. Everyone was happy. Was it a 40-point triple-double? I believe so. And then that was the night. I think if I'm remembering correctly, that was in the story. I mean, then Vogel, they're all happy and like they think they end the season okay. And then Vogel he sees the text from Woj, sees a tweet from Woj saying he was fired. So
yeah, that was a funny scene because you said he was like sitting around with the other coaches.
Yeah,
and then just like looks at his phone, like, "Oh, I'm fired."
Yep. So, right, I believe if I remember correctly, I think that was this Taylor Horton Tucker game. I think I could be wrong on that, but I think it's the same game.
Okay, Andrew, 40 shorts.
3.
Question number 3. Prior to what LeBron season did the Lakers have their highest preseason over-under with 52.5? So you have to tell me what season. So like 18-19 all the way up through last year, 24-25. So before what season did they have their highest preseason over-under?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Very good question.
Thank you.
2020, 2021. There's so many 20s in that.
2020, 2021. That is incorrect, Andrew.
You know the problem with that is, Andrew, the over/under. That's you have the season. That was a shortened season. You got to go. The over/under is going to be too.
Right.
Oh man, yeah.
I'm gonna say 2019, 2020. The year 2, the bubble year, the year of the title. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm gonna say 2019, 2020.
Yaron? That is also incorrect. Would you believe it was 21-22, the year they traded for Westbrook? That's how excited people were. 52.5 was their over-under.
Maybe I was wrong. I've been saying that most people at that time, like that, they're not Monday morning quarterbacking. Most people were out on the trade, but maybe I've been wrong this whole time. Maybe
I think they were.
And was that like the lowest win total that LeBron's had since he's been a Laker? Isn't that right?
Yeah, it has to be. I mean,
it just has to be.
Year 1, they missed the playoffs too, but like I don't think they were. I think that has to be. Or at least the win percentage. I don't know. Again, maybe the win totals.
That is wild.
Okay, so it is 3-1. We've got 4 questions left. Your own. The board is yours.
Let's go 4. We'll just go keep going in order.
Question number 4. Oh, this is my favorite question. Lakers traded Ivica Zubac for Mike Muscala during the 2018-19 season. How many points did Mike Muscala score as a Laker? Now, before you answer, you get to choose who answers first. You can make Andrew answer first, and then you go higher or lower. Or you can answer first, and then Andrew would go higher or lower. The one wrinkle here is that if you make Andrew answer and he gets it exactly correct, he would get a bonus point.
No, I'm taking the 50-50 shot. I'm making Andrew get the. I'm making Andrew hit the.
All right, Andrew.
Hit the.
Their big trade, bringing in Mike Muscala. Moose, how many points did he score as a Laker?
Oh, Moose. God, I don't even know how to guess a number on this.
You know what you should do? I'm gonna give you. You should Price is Right it. Is what you should do. That's what you should do to me. You should like go 1 or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Over under 1 point for Moose. Gosh, shout out to Moose. Moose is a good dude. I don't know. 39.
All right. The over-under has been set at 39.
I'm hammering that under. I am hammering that under.
You're hammering the under.
Yeah.
Mike Muscala for the Lakers scored 100 points.
No.
He's a
How much he
legend,
scored?
a Laker legend.
I gotta look it up. The real question is like, what was it? I think 13 or 17 points he scored against the Lakers in a game that like most people in the front office think is the reason Magic wanted to trade for him. Like he saw Bruce light them up, and then he's like, "Oh, that guy, go get me that guy." And there's Michael Beasley with the Knicks too. Like Magic had a streak of guys who did well against the Lakers in a game. Like he would want those guys. It was pretty funny.
All right,
so
Andrew.
I'm failing. Okay,
board is yours. 5, 7, or 8.
Moose on the Suns coaching staff now.
Is he really?
Yeah, he is. Number 5.
Question number 5. In LeBron's first season as a Laker, 3 players had triple doubles. LeBron and these 2 players. You have to name both to get the points. First season with the Lakers, 3 players had triple doubles. LeBron and these 2 players. And you have to name both of them to get the points, Andrew.
Lonzo and Rondo.
Oh, that's what I was going to say.
Rondo,
you get it right,
Andrew. That is correct.
I had that one. Damn it, that was that. Yeah.
Okay.
I was when you were asking it, like those 2 seemed too obvious.
So
I was like racking my brain, like, would Josh Hart have done it as a Laker? Like, probably not. Like,
that's not bad. Yeah, that's not a bad one.
Okay, you're on 2 questions left, 7 or 8.
Yeah. Let's go 7.
Question number 7. During the LeBron era, the Lakers have played the most playoff games against which opponent?
Denver Nuggets.
That is correct.
Oh, there you go.
All right, Andrew, final question. You get first dibs. During the LeBron era in LA, this player holds the record for most dunks in a season with 201. So this is just during the LeBron era. Who had the biggest dunking season?
Wow. JaVale?
Wow, Andrew, that is correct.
Yes. Wow, I was gonna go Dwight. You would have. That's very good.
Yeah,
Which year was that? Was that the bubble year? The 1920 season?
Yeah, it must have been.
Came back.
Yeah, I thought either Dwight or AD would trip you guys up.
No, AD likes shoot. He likes that jumper. AD, right? He likes that jump shot.
He does.
Well, congrats, Andrew. You have won this edition of Andrew versus the Beat.
Listen, if you're a basketball fan, if you like the NBA at all, when this book comes out, you got to go get it. Yaron, you did so well with this. I hope that people buy a ton of copies of this book because I think it will help inform so many different stories, not even just Lakers. Like you don't have to be a Lakers fan to like want to read this book because it really, there's so many things like the Paul George trade that kind of shaped the entire league that'll kind of just get your mind rolling. So go get it. It's called A Hollywood Ending, The Dreams and Drama of the LeBron Lakers. Anything else you want to promote before we go?
No, I'm good. That's it. I appreciate it. I like to think I agree. I think I agree. Like I agree with that, but I appreciate you saying that means a lot. No, I think if you're listening to the show, I feel very comfortable saying you will like this book, right? I feel comfortable on that one. So I appreciate you guys having me. That was a lot of fun.
All right, Andrew, it's a new season, first week of the season, which means it's time for the first spin of the Wheel of Fandom.
Oh, it's back.
Now, if you're a new listener, this is something we do every week during the season. We have a digital wheel, and on that wheel, the names of all 30 teams. And each week, we spin the wheel, it lands on a team, and we become fans of that team for the next week. So we'll watch the games, we'll read the blogs. I'll probably be on the subreddit reading comments from random fans. And then next week we'll come back and we'll talk to someone affiliated with that team. Well, not affiliate. We'll talk to a beat writer. Probably. We'll have the GM on of whatever team we land on. It'll be great. We'll usually have a beat writer.
Yeah.
And so without further ado, I have reset the wheel. So all 30 teams are on there. It could be anyone. Could be anyone. Any team. And I will say, first spin, there's basically no losers because every team is interesting at the beginning of the season. We don't get into the bad stuff until the end of the season when you're spinning.
Give us Utah. They won a game. Give us Utah.
Yeah, they dominated.
Let's get it out of the way.
Watch some Utah. Okay, so here we go. Spinning the wheel for the very first time, the 25-26 season. And our first wheel Phantom team is going to be the Houston Rockets.
The Houston Rockets.
The Houston Rockets, a team that
Wow.
we have already watched play, a team that, as I mentioned earlier, I'm very interested in what happens going forward with Reed Shepard.
Yeah.
Let's see who they play this week. Well, they got a Friday night game, which will already happen when this airs, against Detroit. Oh, then we get to see the
one.
Brooklyn Nets. That's
Nice.
great. That's
We
exciting.
get to see Amen Asar on Friday.
Amen Asar, that's true.
Yeah.
And then kind of an interesting game. It might be disgusting, but it's an interesting game Wednesday at
Yep.
Toronto.
That is
Rockets, Raptors.
God. That has S. Henny written all over it. Wow. He's gonna love that. He's gonna love that one. Yeah, this is a good one because they are intriguing. They're new, they're funky. I got to see him in person the other night up close. There are a lot of very interesting things about the Houston Rockets. So I'll be hitting up my buddy Will Guillory on that one, who's you guys probably know him better as a Pelicans beat writer, but he's writing about the Houston Rockets for the most part this season. So looking forward to I hope that Will's our guest because I always love having Will on. So yeah, Houston Rockets. Here we go. Amen. My son has an Amen Thompson jersey that he's wearing around these days.
Really?
He's obsessed with Amen. Yeah.
Wow.
Loves him. I barely let it into my house, but it's nice. Okay. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Please share it. We're on YouTube. We're on Apple. We're on Spotify. If you will please share it, that would mean a lot to us. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll be back every single week now. Very exciting. We'll be back again next Saturday.